Episode 3 of my Java programming tutorials. In today's tutorial, I'm going to cover implementing a for loop, and we're going to use it in a factorial algorithm. So to start, we need to create a new project. So you go to File, New, and Java Project. And there you'll enter the project name. I'm going to call it Factorial. And once you've created your project, you go to your src folder and create a new class, which again I'm going to call Factorial. Make sure that you capitalize the first letter of the class name, whatever it is. In this case, it's F. Alright. Now, once you've created it, you need to create your constructor from the coding first. So public, Factorial. Don't forget your parentheses and your brackets. And make sure that your constructor has the identical spelling to your class name, or it won't work. And now we're going to implement the main string. The main method. To do that, just public static void main, parentheses, string with a capital S, arrays, arguments. Nothing new so far. Alright. And then you want to create a variable. It's going to be an integer, and we want to call it fact. And we're going to set it equal to 5, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. Next thing you want to do is start the for loop. To do that, you can type for and parentheses. This is just like the while loop. The parentheses go around the condition for this command, for this keyword. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable specifically for the for loop. It will only be accessible within the for loop. And we're going to call it I, and we're going to set it to 4. If you use a different number for your factorial, just make sure that your I integer is one number less than the fact integer. Semicolon, we're going to say I is greater than 0. Semicolon, and then I minus minus. Right. You can go outside the parentheses, make another open bracket, and hit enter. And type fact times equals I. Semicolon. Now get out of your for loop. Go down below the next, or the closing bracket for the for loop, and type your system out print line. And this is to see what kind of output you're getting. And you can just type fact, it'll print the number off for you. Alright, now run it real quick. And as you can see, it gave us 20, which is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now I'm going to trace the program for you. On the for loop, I'm assuming you can follow it up to the for loop by now. On the for loop, what this does is it reads it. The first thing it does is it creates this variable, and it sets I as an integer equal to 4. Then it checks to make sure that I is greater than 0, and as long as it's greater than 0, it'll run whatever is within the for loop. And then it simply runs fact times I equals itself. So this is literally saying fact is equal to 5 times 4. And then it's setting that as the value for fact. And then when it runs this again, it's going to say 5 times 4, which is 20, times 3. And the reason I went down to 3 is because of this I minus minus. Whenever you use a for loop, you're going to be using 3 conditions, or at least 2 conditions, normally 3. You're going to use this variable that only works within the for loop. You're going to use the condition that says keep running until this isn't true anymore. And then you're going to have this, which changes the variable within the for loop. I minus minus, it's subtracting 1 from I each time. So literally, I equals 4 becomes I equals 3, becomes I equals 2, becomes I equals 1. And finally, it becomes I equals 0, and the loop stops running because I is no longer greater than 0. And then once this happens, it prints the system dot out dot print line. Okay. But this isn't so much as useful as if we would have it give us maybe a list of factorials for a set of numbers. We'll say 1 through 10. So we're going to go back and change something. So we're going to change the initial value of fact to 1, and go to for loop and change the initial value of I to 1. We want I to be less than or equal to 10. And then instead of I minus minus, we want I plus plus. Alright. This is actually going to use a while statement within a for statement. So you're going to want to re-reference that and set it equal to 1. And now we're going to create a new variable. And for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to call it j. So you're going to make an integer j, and you're going to set it equal to 2. Now once you've done that, use the keyword while and set its condition. And its condition is going to be as long as j is less than or equal to I, it's going to keep running whatever is in its brackets. So within its brackets, we're going to use the same mathematical equation. We're going to say fact times I'm sorry, I keep doing that today. Fact times equals, and then I. No, I'm sorry, j. I don't know what I'm thinking. And now we're going to do the same thing we did in the for loop, and we're going to say j plus plus. And it's the same idea as I plus plus. And now when you run this, you're going to get a list of factorial numbers. Oh, nope, I lied, I'm sorry. You'll also need to change your system.out.println to be within your for loop. And that's easy enough done. You just want to move your closing bracket down. Now when you run it, there we go. And then you see we have a list. 1 times itself is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 times 1 is 6, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 24, so forth, so forth. And it goes down to 10. It does 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. And you come out with that number. And then you could fancy it up if you would like to. You can have it say, I plus, we'll give it a space, and then. And what I've just done here with these plus signs is called concatenation, and it allows you to add multiple things within a string. So literally it's going to print the value of I plus the space I made plus the factorial. So now when you see it, now you have the numbers that it goes along with. So you have 1 is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 times 1 is 6, and so forth. And that's a